Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Liaquat and we are going through this book, which is al-Fawz al-Kabir, and this is the next lesson. Right, so we've reached, where have we reached so far? Let me know what you guys think of these lessons so far and how you guys have been benefiting from this. That's what I'd really love to see, how you guys are implementing them, understanding them, and see if you guys are making sense of application, because the main thing, isn't it? Application is extremely important. So let's have a go over here then. All right, so let's start. I think it was last time we left was about here. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So now here he says ta'rif al-shirki wa amthilatuhu. Right, so this is the definition of shirk, which is polytheism, right, which is a form of association to Allah. This is a common thing that people ask about, and here he explains the definition of shirk and its examples. So he's given 5 examples here of what shirk is, and this is what today's lesson is going to actually cover. And then we're going to look into the Quran to see if we can make sense of these 5 points. So he says, هو إثبات صفة من صفاته تعالى المختصة به لغيره. It's establishing an attribute which is uniquely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and giving this to someone else. Right, so establishing a sifa, an attribute from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then saying that this sifa actually can be found in someone else as well. So what are some examples of this? Because a lot of people will ask questions, things like, Allah mentions about himself that he is all hearing, so humans can also hear. Allah is all seeing, humans can also see. Allah is merciful and humans are also merciful. So how is there this difference then? Like exactly what defines an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be attributed or given to someone else? So he says, مثل إثبات التصرف في العالم, like establishing dealings in the universe, in the alam, بإرادة, with such a decision, يعبر عنها, which is defined as kun fayakun لغيره تعالى. So in other words, this sifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is unique to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kun fayakun. In other words, being able to bring something into existence from scratch. Yeah. So what they call ex nihilo. So from nothing, ibda', right? Ex nihilo, from scratch with no raw material at all, and making something come into existence. This is something which is unique to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if I was to, let's say, for example, just draw, for instance, like if we say Allah, right, has made every single thing in the universe. So make the universe like an umbrella, right, the universe. So everything here, Allah has created it through kun fayakun. Okay, so this is created through kun fayakun. And then Allah, he creates inside of this universe, he creates a whole system of how things work. This entire system of how things work is known as the cause and effect system. So we have a whole system that runs on cause and effect. Right, so the light traveling, objects falling, all of these things inside of this universe are based upon this idea of cause and effect. So inside this universe, we also have the human being now. So let's make the human being a different color. Right, so let's say, for example, a human being, and a human being obviously can do lots of things, right? So a human being might be able to give birth, might be able to pick up something, might be able to cook, might be able to kill, yeah, and so forth. All these different things that a human can do. But all of these things that a human does is actually based upon the cause and effect system. So a human just can't do something just like a scratch. Has to be able to use some sort of a means for things to happen. So can't just give birth without any sort of means. You can't pick something up without a means. There has to be movement in the arms and legs and all of these things. Cooking, there has to be ingredients, there has to be motion, there has to be movement, there has to be a fire, etc. And kill as well. Even if he wants to kill someone or kill an animal, there has to be some sort of an object, or using the hands, or some sort of a strength. None of these are through kun fayakun. right? So this would not fall under shirk. So what would fall under shirk is if a person was to say, for example, that this human has the ability to bring into existence something like Allah has without any means at all, right? Make it materialize with no means at all, with not even any. I mean, let's say, for example, someone created some sort of a device, a transporter device or some sort of object which could materialize any material you wanted, just like a 3D printer. You want, so let's say, for example, a vase with a plant to be made, and you just put in the number. You still need to put in a number. You still need to have some sort of atoms or something to be able to start with. Then you can reach this. So it is actually not from scratch. So this is why he says anyone who believes that any creature, anything, any object has the power to be able to kun fayakun, then this person is committing shirk. So this would fall under shirk of that sort. Okay, so this is the first thing that he's saying. Number 2, أو إثبات العلم الذاتي غير المكتسب بالحواس. Actually, let me so give you an example. So the mushriks, so the people who do shirk, they actually believe that they are, or some of them believe that there are other things that have the power that Allah has the power to do, right? So it has the power to be able to make the sun disappear, or the sun move, or the earth move, or for someone to become ill, or someone to become cured, or anything like that, without any intervention of Allah, right? Without any intervention of Allah. Okay, so this would be considered to be shirk in itself. أو إثبات العلم الذاتي غير المكتسب بالحواس, or establishing intrinsic knowledge, العلم الذاتي غير المكتسب بالحواس, which is not earned through the senses, which is not gained through the senses. ولا بالدليل العقلي, nor through aql, nor through ilham. So aql means reasoning, nor through ilham means some sort of inspiration. ولا بالمنام, nor through sleeping. ونحوهما, and anything similar to that. لخلق من خلائقه تعالى, for any of the creations of Allah Ta'ala. So this is another example then. So if we were to, let's say, draw this then. So we know that Allah's knowledge is unique. Okay, Allah's knowledge is unique and nothing can compare to Allah's knowledge. Allah's knowledge is what we describe as being without any means at all, without any known means. Right, so Allah's knowledge, let's put this in red, let's keep it consistent. So Allah's knowledge is a knowledge that we can't even comprehend. It has no means. We call it dhati, right, which is like an intrinsic knowledge that does not come from anywhere. As for human beings' knowledge is always going to be bound to different sources. Yeah, so human being knowledge is based upon several things. So all the information that the senses bring in, the sight, the taste, right? So he gains some sort of knowledge through that. Or for example, like through his aql, which is through his reasoning. So he thinks, ponders, comes to some sort of conclusion. Or for example, through inspiration. Maybe he was inspired by looking at something. A person, just like Adam alayhi salam, or the children of Adam, were inspired when they saw a crow digging in the ground, and they were inspired to bury the dead. And dreams, right? Just like we see in the Quran, Allah mentions about dreams. Yusuf alayhi salam's dream is a famous one. So senses, number 1. So our senses are used to be able to gain information. That's how most of us gain information. And then we have reasoning, and we have inspiration, we have dreams, and anything which is of that sort. If anyone has any knowledge gained through this is totally fine. Right? We're allowed to have this kind of knowledge. This is not shirk. But if a person believes that there is someone who can gain knowledge, like some sort of a superhero that you have in some of these films, where the superhero has this ability to be able to know things without any means at all, without any inspiration at all, just dhati ilm. That is something which is not allowed. Right? So this is allowed. This would not fall under shirk. But like we said, that superhero, the fantasy superhero, that comes out with this kind of stuff, this person would not be allowed. This would be considered to be shirk, and it's not possible. All these things are not possible. These are all fables, fiction, all made up stuff, and it wouldn't be allowed for a person to actually have any of this at all. Okay, next one now. So إثبات الشفاء المريض is establishing the shifa, the curing of an ill person, وإيجاد الصحة, and creating siha, health, لغيره تعالى, for anyone other than besides Allah. So in other words, we know that when a person becomes ill, let me just grab another piece of paper. Right. Okay, so we know that when it comes to establishing some sort of any sort of ability, like we said, tasarruf kind of falls under this one as well. So if you have some sort of tasarruf, we said this is going to only be allowed for Allah. Included in this tasarruf is illness. So we know that Allah, He gives shifa, like Ibrahim alayhi salam said. Yeah, so He gives what is known as shifa. Shifa means giving a cure from illness. Allah is the one that creates illnesses, and Allah is the one that removes the illnesses. This is Allah's power and Allah's power alone. Now, if there is a human, let's say, so for example, let's say he's got the illness coronavirus or whatever, the cure for this, the shifa comes from Allah, but the way that the shifa comes from Allah could be through many means. So this could be through, let's say, it could be through doctors, it could be through some medicine, it could be through some du'as, it could be through some healthy eating, yeah, whatever. Just give some examples over here. So all of these things indicate that no one believes that the doctor gives shifa, or the medicine gives shifa, or the healthy eating gives shifa, or du'as give shifa. What gives shifa is Allah. As long as a person believes that Allah is the one that gives shifa, and that shifa is not found in anything besides Allah, then that person is not committing shirk. But once a person believes that there is a being out there, or some object or thing out there which has the power to be able to just like for example, magically cure, then this is something which is not allowed, because that person is believing that they have independent, and if they have independent, not allowed, this would be counted as being shirk. Now obviously it is impossible for anyone to have power of this besides Allah. Allah is in full control. No one has the power to do any of this at all, not in any way at all. Okay, number 4 now. And so like we said, so this number 3 that Ibrahim alayhi salam said, my Lord is the one, when I become ill, maridtu fahuwa yashfin, He is the one that cures me. So Ibrahim alayhi salam was bringing it all back to Allah. Although Ibrahim alayhi salam would clearly have taken the means, he knew that none of these can do anything if Allah does not provide the ability of shifa. Or ithbat al-la'an al-ibad, or establishing cursing, ibad al-rahmah. La'an literally means distancing one from mercy. Wal-ghadab, and rage, ala ahadin, upon someone, lighayrihi ta'ala, for anyone other than Allah. Hatta, so much so, yasir dhalika al-mal'oon, that person who has been distanced from the mercy, or maghdub, or whose anger is upon them, li'ajli dhalika al-la'an, due to that curse or that ghadab, anger, faqiran, has become poor or ill, or shaqiyan, or has become wretched. In other words, another point here, which is again the Quran indicates towards, is the idea of the Allah being unique when it comes to la'an, okay, and ghadab. La'an and ghadab. So la'an and ghadab, like we said, means la'an means to be distant from Allah's mercy, and ghadab means to have divine anger upon them. So what's the result of this? So if someone has la'an upon them, so let's say for example like Fir'aun or Iblis. So this is Iblis. Iblis has la'an upon him. Now what's the result of the la'an upon him? He is distanced from Allah's mercy. Yeah, he's deprived of Allah's mercy. Okay, Allah not make us like that. And ghadab is, for example, let's say someone who is like Fir'aun, or someone, yeah, or anyone like that, some from the Bani Israel, the ghadab Allah. Now what's the result of this? The result of this is these two people are going to end up in a wretched state, in a bad state. Now no one else has this power. No one else has the power to make anyone end up in a bad state by the la'an and the ghadab, except for Allah. So we can metaphorically, we can be angry with someone, we curse them. But our cursing, if we believe that our cursing does not have the power, right? We have let's say for example, we curse someone. And when we curse that person, nothing will happen. It's just words that we're saying really, right? So this person, let's say for example, someone curses them. Nothing really will happen, right? Unless Allah makes it happen, right? So will anything happen? No, nothing will happen. So he's saying that anyone who believes that any object, anything, any item has the ability to be able to curse, to be able to bring wrath, to make their state into a terrible state by cursing and ghadab, then this is something which is not possible, right? This is something which is not possible for other than Allah. Anyone who believes that someone has this ability, so someone says there is someone who has this ability that can do this, right? That if you make them angry, if you make this tree angry, this tree will curse you. If you make this individual angry, then their curse will destroy you. We can't believe that unless it comes from Allah. Yes, if a person like the Prophet ﷺ, for instance, let's say the Prophet ﷺ, he was to curse someone. Okay, so Muhammad ﷺ was to curse an individual, let's say. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was to curse this guy over here. So this guy is cursed now, okay? For example, now this person would become in a bad state. Bad state. Okay, so he would become in a bad state, and this would result in him. Why? Because the Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam cursing him is because Allah will have given him that ability. Allah would have, by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam cursing someone, in reality is Allah's cursing them. So the Prophet ﷺ's curse would be an extension of Allah cursing them. Just like if someone disobeys the Prophet ﷺ, they are in reality disobeying Allah. So the Prophet ﷺ was sent as a messenger. So this individual now, this cursed person is now, okay, in trouble now. So this is what can happen. Okay, but no one believes that the Prophet ﷺ has an independent power than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and number 5, أو مثل إثبات الرحمة لأحد غيره تعالى, or establishing mercy for anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حتى, so much so, يسير ذلك المرحوم, that person who has been shown mercy, that عيشة مرضية, lives a happy, pleasant life, صحيح البدن, healthy body, أو سعيدا, or he becomes someone who is successful, felicity. وهؤلاء المشركون, and those mushriks, those polytheists, لم يكونوا يشركون بالله أحد. Okay, so we'll stop it there. So there you have another example, right? So this is the 5th example of these people. So in other words, people who commit shirk, another example of them, let me just get another piece of paper, is those people who actually think that someone else has rahmah. So Allah is the one that has mercy on everyone, right? So this is known as the mercy of Allah. And again, just like the la'an, the opposite of la'an is mercy. So ar-rahmah. So what does this mean then? So this means, so basically, if there is a person who Allah has mercy on them, like Allah had mercy on the people of the cave, and Allah had mercy on Maryam alayhi salam. So when Allah has mercy on anyone, what happens? This mercy puts them into a pleasant state, like the opposite of curse. So pleasant, happy, good, etc. So this, in other words, this rahmah, this is something which is unique to Allah, right? And if anyone believes that someone else has this ability, like an idol has this ability, and they can also be happy, if they're happy with someone, then that person's life will become good. This is not allowed. This is shirk. Now, obviously no one has the ability to be able to do this, but believing it is where you are believing something which is an attribute of Allah for someone else. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ, him being kind to someone, this is again an extension of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's obedience. Okay, so that's totally permissible. Now, this is what he's saying over here. So these 5 different types, this is what we mean by shirk. So if a person does this with anyone, Shawli Allah Rahman is saying, besides Allah, and believes, then that person is ultimately committing shirk, is associating with Allah. Now he says, where do these mushrikun get these ideas from? He says, Hawla al-mushrikun, these mushriks, these idol worshippers, right? These people who are idol worshippers, لم يكونوا يشركون بالله أحدا في خلق الجواهر. They never used to they never used to associate anyone with Allah في خلق الجواهر, in making objects. So they never believed that someone else has made an object. ولا في تدبير الأمور العظام. Nor did they believe that the running of the affairs, the great affairs of the universe, like the skies and the earth and the sun and the moon, والنجوم واختلاف الليل, and the changing of the day and the night, ونظام الحياة, and the sequencing of life and death. They never used to believe anyone besides Allah does this. They actually believed Allah does all of this. وَيَعْلَمُونَ, and they knew أَنَّ اللَّهَ, that when Allah إِذَا أَبْرَمَ أَمْرًا, that when He firmly decided a matter, لَا يَقْدِرْ أَحَد, no one has the power, وَلَا شيء, nothing has the power, على منعه, to stop it. بل rather, إنما كان إشراكهم. However, their ishraq was only, their association was only لأجل قياسهم, when they started to draw analogies of the sifat of Allah, the attributes of Allah, al-mukhtassa, which were unique to Him, bihi ala umurin khasa, to things that were specific with humans, بعض ibadi. وكان من ظنهم, and from amongst their assumptions, or their sort of like reasoning, ما يأتي كما أن السلطان, like this, like a great leader, Sultan al-Azim, صاحب القدرة, who has strong authority, يبعث أبيده, sends his servants, وخدامه, and his workers, الخاصين, his specific special ones, إلى أطراف المملكة, to the various parts of his kingdom, ويفوض إليهم, and he gives them the power, الاختيار, والتصرف, and ability في الأمور الجزئية, small matters, المتعلقة, which are related to general public, رعية والشعب, ما لم يصدر, so long as a hukum sari, a specific and explicit decision, has not come from him, his janib. So they can do basically whatever they like, as long as an explicit ruling hasn't come from him, which stops them. فَالسُّلْطَانُ بِنَفْسِهِ, so therefore the leader, this is what they believed. So the leader himself, لا يتوجه, does not really deal with مسائل جزئية, the small little matters, المربوطة, which are associated to the public, ولا يشغل, and he doesn't preoccupy himself بتدبير أمورهم الجزئية, with their, taking care of their small matters. بل يفوض أمرهم, rather he hands over their matter إلى نائبه, to his vice العسكري in the army, or الشعبي, or the public, ويقبل شفاعة النائب, and he accepts the intercession of his vice, his associates, في أمور العبيد, regarding the affairs of the citizens, والمتوسلين به, and those who seek an intercession. فكذلك الملك المطلق, and so they say this must be the case with the Malik al-Mutlaq, the unconditioned King Allah جل مجده, Allah al-Wahid al-Qahar, خص بعض عباده, they believe that He has specified some of His servants بجائزة الألوهية, with a divine reward. فيؤثر رضاهم, so therefore their pleasure has an effect, and وسخطهم, and their anger has an effect في سائر عباد الله, on all of creation, وسائر خلقه. ويعتقدون, and they believe وجوب التقرب, it's necessary to seek closeness بهؤلاء, to these individuals الذين عندهم جائزة ألوهية, that have this divine sort of like reward or permission, ليمكن لهم شرف, so that it can enable for them the honor of qabul, of acceptance, min janib al-malik al-haqiqi, in the eyes of the true king, alladhi lahu al-mulku as-samawati wal-ard, the one to whom belongs the skies and the earth, وَلِيَشْفَعْ لَهُمْ, and so that he can intercede for them, وَهَؤُلَاءِ الْمَخْصُوصُونَ al-musharrafun, those specific honorable people, بشعبة من الألوهية والعياذ بالله, with a branch of divinity, and we seek Allah's protection from this. في الأمور المشكلة, in difficult matters, ويقبل شفاعتهم لمن تحتهم, and that their intercession is accepted for those who are beneath them, or their subjects. فبناء على هذا, so based upon this, على هذا الرجاء, based upon this hope والوهم, and this corrupted belief, يجوزون, they allow sajda, prostration, لهؤلاء العباد, to these specific individuals, ويجوزون, and they also allow slaughtering for them in their name, والحلف and swearing oaths with their names, والاستعانة and seeking divine help منهم في الأمور الضرورية in necessary matters, ويثبتون لهم قدرة and they establish for them the qudra, the power of kun fayakun. So they say these individuals have the power of kun fayakun. حتى نحتوا, so much so that they began to sculpt their images متخلعين بخلعة الألوهية, with the divine adornment من حجر, stones, صفر, sulfur and نحاس and copper. وجعلوا تلك السور, and they made these images قبلة, directions, لتوجه أرواح, to face their direction, their souls towards these men. ثم طفق, and they began, these foolish people, these ignorant people began slowly, تدريجا, bit by bit, يعتقدون, believing that تلك الأحجار, those stones and sulfur and sulfur and nahas and copper, المنحوتة, that was sculpted, آلهة, are gods, بذاتها, on their own. وتطرق خلط عظيم, and then this great mix-up entered بين المعبود الحقيقي, between the true one who is worshipped, رب العالمين, Allah, رب العالمين himself, وحده, وبين تلك الآلهة المنحوتة, and between these sculpted idols or divine beings. So this is what basically began to happen, is that they began to slowly believe that, in other words, like a king, if I was to draw it like this just to make it a bit more clear, imagine like a king. So let's say, for example, this is a king. They tried to draw an analogy and they said a king who sits on a throne, and he has these servants of his that he sends out. They began to believe that these servants have power of Allah. Yeah, they have a power of Allah, and all humans they can't get to Allah himself. They can't get the king himself. So all humans have to go through them. So you have to go through them, you have to choose one or maybe two, and you have to go through them instead of going through Allah or the king in this case. Which this is actually totally wrong. This is shirk, and this is what they used to actually believe. And Allah in the Quran, Allah Jalla Jalaluhu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He is the one that is free of all of this. Everyone is equal in the eyes of Allah. All human beings are all equal. Yeah, so no one has power over anyone. Everyone is equal. Yes, Allah may give someone, but all of this ability that Allah gives anyone at all is through Allah subhanahu. But it doesn't mean that these people deserve to be worshipped at all. And even the prophets and messengers that were sent, it does not mean that we worship these messengers, like the Christians began to worship Isa alayhi salam, Jesus. But it means that we respect the status that Allah gave them, but we still only worship Allah Almighty Himself. So every single individual, whether it was a prophet, so let's say these were prophets, every single citizen, even the prophets, all have to worship Almighty Allah. Everyone worships Allah. Yeah, no one has any sort of power, super divine ability, except getting to Allah. So now when we read the Quran, we keep these things in mind. We understand the concept of shirk, and now it should make more sense to us when we start reading. So, for example, like if we go to Surah, it's a good example, again, is Surah Al-An'am, like I mentioned to you guys last time. So this is a great Surah. I don't know, any of you guys have you kind of managed to get through this Surah or see some of the amazing ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains? So look at this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض. All praises to Allah only. الذي خلق السماوات, the one who created the skies and earth. No humans can do this. Only Allah can do this. Like we said, the first point that we mentioned, if you remember, yeah, that tasarruf is only for Allah. وَجَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ. He's made the dhulumat, He made the nur. Only Allah did, no one else can. And if you believe that someone else has this power, then this is problematic. Okay, so جَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ. Let me show you with this. ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ يَعْدِلُونَ. And then those who did kufr with their Lord, بِرَبِّهِمْ يَعْدِلُونَ. Right, so يَعْدِلُونَ, in other words, عَدَلَ, they're making equals. Yeah, يَعْدِلُونَ, making equals. Right, so in other words, what does it mean to make equals with them? It means that they are making equals, adl, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ, they disbelieved in Allah, يَعْدِلُونَ. هو الذي خلقكم. He is the one that created you, no one else. If you believe anyone else created you, then this is shirk. Yes, your parents were the means of bringing you into the world, but they didn't create you. من طين, from earth. ثم قضى أجلا, and then he appointed a period. وأجل مسمى عنده, and there is an appointed period that is only with him. ثم أنتم تمترون, and then you are all having doubts about whether Allah exists. وهو الله, and he is the one في السماوات وفي الأرض, the skies and the earth. يعلم سركم, he knows your secrets without any means at all. If you believe that anyone else has any means, then it's shirk. If you believe that anyone else knows without any means, shirk. وجهركم, and what you publicize. ويعلم ما تكسبون, and he knows what you do. وما تأتيهم من آية, and no signs. ما تأتيهم, from the signs of your Lord come to them, these mushriks, إلا كانوا عنها مؤردين, except that they turn away. فقد كذبوا, they declared a lie بالحق, the truth, لما جاءهم, when it came to them, when the Prophet came to them, the signs came to them. فسوف يأتيهم أنباء ما كانوا بيستهزئون. So soon will come to them the great news of that which they used to mock. أولم يروا كم أهلكنا, and then Allah goes on mentioning about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done. Now if you read this surah now with this understanding of this shirk, it makes it more powerful now. It makes understanding who Allah is more clear, I would say. So Shah Wali has done a great job trying to explain to the reader of how we should understand the concept of shirk in the Quran and how it's been presented, and it kind of like brings to life a lot. So I think next time what we'll do is, you guys let me know in the comments as well, shall we have some more practice in the Quran at the examples of shirk? Because I think it's a very important thing. I don't want to whiz through this and then you guys don't really get the opportunity to see in the Quran the application of these amazing sort of principles that Shah Wali Allah mentions here. So I don't want to make this video too long. It's already gonna past 30 minutes. So yeah, so let me know inshallah what you guys think of this. And just to recap again, this was the topic that we covered about the shirk and how the people began to do shirk themselves. Yeah, so there was a form of shirk which was the kun fayakun shirk, the knowledge shirk, the shifa shirk, the la'an shirk, and the rahma shirk. That's how easy way to remember it. Jazakumullah khair, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't subscribed, then I suggest you hit the subscribe button. If you want updates on all the videos that I put up, press the bell and leave comments in the comment section. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, guys, for all of your support. Without your support, I wouldn't have been able to produce the videos that I've put up on my YouTube channel. And there is so much more that I really want to do. And without the support of you guys who are patrons, generously supporting this channel, I've been able to get myself a camera, which as you guys can see, the quality of this camera, mic system, software. I've been able to hire an editor. So what do I want to do? I want to make lots and lots and lots of more videos for beginners, for intermediate, advanced in the subjects like Arabic and fiqh and hadith and tafsir and aqidah and all those other things as well. And for this to happen, again, this channel needs support. So if you guys want to become patrons and support this channel, then check out the link below. Also, if you do become patrons, you'll have access to videos that I don't put up on my normal YouTube channel. So check that out, inshallah. And there's most other perks as well that you guys can benefit from. And if you want to access this channel through social media, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Facebook page, and other things as well that you can visit. So Jazakumullah khair again, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair for watching this video. I hope to see all of you guys. If you guys are interested, please leave us feedback, get in contact with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.